Okay, so I'm making this particular video for this particular song, because this song was actually a lot different process than how the rest of my songs go, and I thought it was a really interesting couple of days, and I thought it'd be cool to share it with you guys, because some of you care, some of you want to hear it. And I really thought that it was interesting. So, it's about August, and I'm thinking, I want to do a cover of an Ed Sheeran song. But I didn't want to do it myself because that was going to be kind of difficult. I actually did want this cover to be a lot better quality. I wasn't expecting the quality that I got, but I did want it to be better quality, and I wanted someone else to play the guitar because I wasn't good enough to play that kind of style, and I like the way that Ty plays guitar. So I went to Ty and I said, do you and Stanley want to do a cover with me? He said yes, and he said that he'd ask Stanley, because I didn't have much contact with Stanley at the time. So I was like, what if we did like a guitar cajon kind of thing, and we filmed, us just casually kind of playing it. I wanted more kind of like hangout footage where we're all just like talking and laughing and stuff, but we didn't get the time to do that. So we just ended up with the performing side of it in 4 different places. So Ty was like, yeah, I am going to, if I'm going to do this cover with you, I'll use the equipment that we have at my college, the Bible college, PBC, and we'll record with that. And then at that point we were like, you know what, if we're going to spend this much effort on the sound, why not get a good camera too, not just my pocket camera. And so that's when we brought Lindsey into it. We asked her around mid-August, Lindsey, will you film us? Will you do this project with us? Because Lindsey goes to my church, so does Ty. So me and Ty know Lindsey that way, and I know Stanley through Ty because of PBC. Ty knows Stanley, and Ty went to PBC. So we got her on board. She said yes. And we planned a date for mid-September. So, like in August, we had made a scratch track for us to get kind of an idea. And while we were making the scratch track, I was like, dude, let's throw in randomly like other Ed Sheeran songs, just pieces of them, because I'm not gonna do any more covers of Ed Sheeran songs. I don't think for a while. I don't want to do like full-on covers of Lego House. What's the other? All of the Stars and I See Fire. I just don't want to do those. Although I would, they're cool songs, but I have other things. So I was like, why don't we just throw pieces of those in there? Oh wow, the camera's shaking a lot. And he was like, yeah, let's try it. So when we're making the scratch track, we kind of just experimented with it a little bit. It was a little different before, but I originally wanted to, Ty shot this idea down so hard. I originally wanted to do like a round of the line in the song that would make someone recognize the song, like, all together. So like a line from I See Fire, a line from All of the Stars, and a line from Lego House, sung at the same time. And I was gonna have Ty sing a couple of the lines as well. He was like, no, we don't have time for that. I don't want to work with that. That's just gonna be way too hard. So no, I'm not doing that. I was like, okay, fine. So that was gonna happen, but it didn't. So we just stuck with what we have now. Mid-September comes around, and we still only have a scratch track, and we're supposed to meet with Lindsey in a few days. So Ty is like, he calls me up, let's get together this day to do it. Whoops. Ty calls me up and he's like, let's get together on this day to do it. so we can get this done before we meet with Lindsey. Why is this window here? There's 3 windows. They changed the cups again. I said no ice in my Dr. Pepper, and they asked me like 3 times, no ice, no ice. They like made sure that I got no ice. I appreciate that. I forget what day it was. When I want to say that it was a Wednesday night after church service. Me and Ty took off to PBC. I think that was what happened. It was late regardless. It was like it was 9 p.m. when we made it to PBC, and then we got the stuff set up. Ty had like so many ties that he had to make and go through all these loopholes to get the studio for PBC. He's not actually, at this point, he wasn't actually living at PBC in the dorm. At this point, he was out, and I think he was done with classes for the most part. So it was after studio hours when we did this, and technically there's a curfew for the college, and we were not a part of it. So we kind of hid out in the studio past curfew to get this done. We stayed in Stanley's dorm after we got done recording that night. So it started off I think like 8 or 9 o'clock. We got into the studio, we set everything up, we got the cajon recorded because Stanley has curfew. So we got that out of the way first, and then we were like, alright, thanks Stanley, good night, and we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, which is in Portland. Okay, Buffalo Wild Wings, that's the funniest thing. First of all, whenever you're out somewhere at a restaurant eating with Ty Mahawan, you're gonna get stories out the wazoo. He tells a lot of stories, and they're really cool stories too, because he's from Thailand. He's been in college in America for 3 years now, I think. Anyway, we're talking and stuff, and we have Buffalo Wild Wings, and he orders so much food. He's like, okay, how hungry are you? And I'm like, I don't know. I do not eat a lot. I don't know even what to call myself. I have like maybe 1.5 meals a day. I know it's unhealthy, but that's just, I'm not hungry. And when I do eat meals, I can have like 1 burrito and then I'll be full. If I eat beyond full, I will actually throw up. He orders like all this freaking food. I ordered more than I thought that it was. So he was like, that's why I asked, how hungry are you? And I was like, I do not know. So Ty eats so much that night. He doesn't eat, he's like me too. He doesn't eat a lot. But he described himself as this feast or famine. He says, I'm a feast or famine kind of guy. I either go days without eating, or I eat so freaking much that I throw up afterwards. and so he's like eating all of this food, and he's like, dude, I might throw up, like, when we get back, because he said, like, he was telling me, you know, I used to have this problem with my stomach and everything back in Thailand and whatever, and that's a whole nother story, but he's like, I might throw up when we get back. And I thought he was joking. I didn't think he ate enough to actually throw up, but we'll get to that later. On the road home, like, I was full stuffed too, so I was like, that's bad for like singing, because your throat, this ranch and dairy and stuff is in my throat, and I'm about to do this really high song and sound my best, and I don't know how that's gonna work out. So I'm like, I roll down the window and I'm like, hold on a second, Ty, and I just like scream out the window, and that actually made me feel a lot better. Like, my stomach wasn't like screaming at me anymore. I just let out this bad feeling with a scream, and it was actually pretty good. I see the lights that's causing this traffic. A police officer pulled someone over, and that's why there's traffic. So we get back to the college, we sneak in to the studios, because he's like calling a bunch of different people all week, like, hey, can I borrow the studio, can I use it? My friend and I are doing a project. So that night, he like calls one of the guys he knows that's a patrol person at PBC. And he's like, hey, can you like leave the... We left the door unlocked to the studio, can you like leave it unlocked so that we can get back? Because earlier that day, a girl had met with us at PBC and unlocked it for us, and then we got in there, recorded with Stanley, and then we were out. So we left the door open. So we get back, we open the door, and then we get in, we close it. We get into the studio. There's a bathroom like right across from the studio room. So we both get in there, and we both get in the studio, and Ty is like, you get yourself like warmed up or whatever you need to do. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So while he's in the bathroom, I am like, I do a couple of screams again, and to like clear my throat up. It's not a good thing to do. Don't do that. So I'm like clearing my throat up, and I'm like singing these stupidly high harmonies. I'm trying to like getting my falsetto warmed up, getting my chest voice warmed up. And I was doing these stupid high harmonies in my chest voice, and so it might not have been good for me, but I was actually hitting the notes. It wasn't terrible. So I'm just sitting in there like leaning over, supporting myself on my knees, just like down at the floor, just like yelling at the floor. And in the meantime, both mine and Ty's stomachs were just like, blah. And so Ty gets out of the bathroom, and he's like, let's do this. And I was like, did you hear me screaming? And he's like, no, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, okay, good studio. He's like, did you hear me? And I was like, no. I found out the next day that he was actually in there throwing up. I didn't know that he had done that. He just came out and casually was like, okay, let's do this. But I found out the next day that he had thrown up in there. And so I was imagining, like, after that, I was imagining this picture of, like, just me in this studio just screaming, and at the same time, Ty's in the bathroom throwing up, and we're like this mess. And then we're like this it's just chaos, and then we get back together, and then we do this awesome cover. And I thought that was really funny to imagine as a cartoon. Before we got into the studio, actually, we were heading inside after Buffalo Wild Wings. He's like, let's do this, man. Puke and rally. he said puke and rally. And that's where, so a couple months ago, I posted on Instagram, I posted a date on there saying that September's going to be really cool, because I thought that I was going to be able to post it that month, but I wasn't able to. But one of my hashtags on that post was puke and rally. And it was completely like no one knew what that meant. What the heck, why did he hashtag puke and rally? It's a picture of Ty sitting at the computer editing with some French fries from Buffalo Wild Wings next to him. And then the hashtag is puke and rally. And so everyone's like, the crap? So that's where that came from. Ty was like, let's do this, man. I'm going to throw up and then we can start recording puke and rally. I didn't actually think he was going to puke and rally. We recorded this. We did the puke and rally thing. All this happened the night before we got together with Lindsey. So we recorded, like Ty recorded his guitar for the final time. I recorded my voice and everything. And then he exported a rough draft so that we could have something to play when Lindsey films us. So we get done recording it all. I actually only sang it all the way through, like 3 times. and he mixed some parts together. What is all of this? Wow, that was scary. A bunch of cars were just like busting in front of me in the lanes. We were in the studio until about 2 in the morning. Yeah, because we went to Buffalo Wild Wings around 11 after recording with Stanley. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings around 11:30ish. Then we went back to PBC, and so we got done recording around 2. We went back to Stanley's dorm as quietly as possible so we wouldn't get in trouble. So Ty chose the floor, right, because Stanley and Micah, they have their bunk bed. Ty chose to sleep on the floor, and I had like this little couch thing. The couch thing was not as comfortable as it looked. Basically, it had run out of softness, and when you sat on it, it was like you could feel the frame, the wooden frame inside of it. And so laying down on it was awful. Ty purposefully chose the floor because he knew that it would be more comfortable than that couch. I slept on it anyway. I think we were out of there by 8. Between 7 and 9, I'm not sure. I don't remember. Come on, dude, there's a merge lane. You gotta get in front of me. Thank you. But that night, me and Ty were laying down, and while he was laying down, he was listening to what we had just exported, like over and over and over again, so that he could make sure that we were good. I was sitting there, like checking Instagram, and I asked Ty, "Do you think a month will be enough to get all this finished?" Because my deadline had now become October 15th, I think. Whenever my cousin Leisha got married, I was like, I want to have it done before then, because I think it'd be cool to play a video like for her wedding, because she likes Ed Sheeran. I was like, do you think that Lindsey will have the videos sent to me, and you'll have the complete audio by that time? And he's like, yeah, that's enough time, a month, a good solid month. So I was like, awesome. So I'm gonna post on Instagram this picture, and I didn't say anything. Like, when I just said October 15th is gonna be a good day, and I was like, hashtag puke and rally. Hashtag Ed, is that you? That's all I said, so no one knew like it was thinking out loud cover or anything, or that it was gonna be on YouTube. I just said that it's a good day, and I wasn't able to post it, so now it's just turned into it was a good day because it was my cousin's wedding day. So the next day we're with Lindsey, we film all that stuff, and there's not really much to say other than, you know, she just met us there at the church. We did our thing, and that was that. She was getting kind of hangry at the end of it, hungry and angry. So we didn't get a chance to do the hangout clips like I wanted to. So that didn't happen, but that's okay because it turned out really cool anyway. And then Ty started getting a little antsy because he was like, dude, Jesse told us to like move these bricks, and we gotta move them today. So like once we're done here, we have to get on that like right afterwards. So we were kind of cramped for time, and that day happened. There's not I've B-rolled some like funny clips for you, but there wasn't actually a lot of bloopers. Believe it or not. So a couple weeks passed by, you know, during this time, Lindsey is editing the footage a little bit to make it look really nice. And Ty had handed off our project, the sound part of it. He left it there in the studio for his friend Sam to work on, because Sam's a better mixer than he is, according to Ty. I think that's what he said. So Sam was gonna mix up all the audio, make it sound perfect and stuff, and send it back to us. He never got to that. So a couple months passed at this point, and I'm like texting Ty like, is the audio done yet? Is the audio done yet? And he's like, no. So Lindsey finally says she's done with the videos like a month later. And she's like, but I don't have anything big enough to put them on. So I'm like, okay. I borrowed a USB stick from the church, gave it to her. So she had the USB stick to put them on. But then she kept forgetting it. Like, for 3 weeks after that, she kept forgetting to give me the footage on the USB stick. So I finally get the footage back at some point. This is like November now. I get the footage back, late November. And Ty hears about it, and he's like, yep, still no audio. So, like, a week or two after I get the footage, he finally says, you know what, I'm not gonna wait for Sam anymore, like, I'll just do it. I'll try mixing it. I'll try my best to mix it all up, make it sound perfect. Because Jordan's tired of waiting. Frankly, I'm tired of waiting. That was pretty much Ty's process. Whose blue car is this? Whose blueberry is this? That's a cute little car. Hey, what's up? I asked for mild sauce, and they double-checked that question too. Yet there's no mild sauce. So Ty finally exports the mastered version of the audio. He emails it to me and says, I think it's a little quiet. I don't know how to turn it up in Pro Tools. So you're going to have to ask Jason, my worship pastor, to turn the volume up in Logic Pro, which he has on his computer at the church. I was like, okay, so I sent it to Jason. Jason turns up the volume. The first time it didn't work. He actually had to do it twice. The first time it was like really bad because the volume was loud, but it was also like doing this continuously. And so we were like, no, that doesn't work. So we had Jason do it again. Like a couple days later, he turned it up again. Finally had the video footage and the mastered volume up audio. And so a couple days after I had all that, and I had the time, finally, a day to work on the project. I did it at the church because I don't have Adobe Premiere at my house, and I was not going to tolerate working on this project with HitFilm. I wanted everything to look nice and make sure that it was all synced up right, and HitFilm was kind of laggy with that. So I worked on it at the church until like 10 o'clock. I was working on it from 6 to 11. And that's how long it took me to edit the video. And while it was exporting, I went to McDonald's, got dinner, came back. I hope I'm not the only person that's done this. Like, I hope I'm not really weird. I hope the other cover artists have had this kind of similar experience. Just going and eating at McDonald's at midnight, coming back and working on their project. Late nights. So yeah, that's that. Hope I showed enough of Ty and Stanley in the video. I hope I gave enough credit to them and Lindsey, because for the most part, they actually did more work than I did. I had the idea, and I sang, but they did all the work. And I did the editing, but that's stuff I do all the time. Ty did the music, Lindsey did the filming, Stanley did the awesome, and I did the editing for the video, and that's that. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna go to a vocal workshop. See you later.